Okay guys, welcome back to Planet Moonshine, the channel where we do home distilling in a professional microbrewery. And if you saw my last video, then you'll know that I was growing some pomegranates in my garden and I decided to make a liqueur with them. And because Christmas is not too far away, I thought I'd make a Christmas spiced pomegranate liqueur. And that's great. I mean, it's absolutely fabulous, but it got me thinking. And I have some Christmas events which we'll be attending and selling beer and other stuff. And I thought, you know what? Everyone likes liqueur at Christmas. So today we're going to make some liqueur for sale at those Christmas markets. And I've got 4 litres of GNS here at 95.5%, and I'm going to put a litre into each of these jars and we're going to make us some interesting liqueurs. So if that floats your boat, stick around. So the general plan is to take this GNS at its 95.5% ABV and add to it lots of frozen fruits. And I've got some strawberries, and I've got some blueberries, and I've got some fruits of the forest, and we're going to make 3 different liqueurs. And the basic approach for each of them is completely identical. We're going to put about 1 kilo of the fruit into each jar with 1 litre of the GNS. And we're just going to let that sit for a while until all the colour's been extracted and the flavour's been extracted, and then we'll strain it through and we're going to mess around with putting the right amount of sugar in to get it to that sort of perfect level of sweetness and to give us a liqueur at about 35% ABV. Okay, let's get stuck in. So that should be our first litre. Fantastic. That leaves me with about another litre of GNS, and what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to make some orange liqueur in a somewhat different way. So for the orange liqueur, what we're going to do is we're going to take a bunch of orange peel, very thinly peeled orange, trying not to get the white stuff, and we're just going to infuse that, and then we'll take it the same route as the others, and we should end up with, well, I don't know, something like about 3 litres per jar, or maybe 4 litres per jar of liqueur in 4 different flavours. Yay! All right, so it's early November here in Murcia in Spain, and fresh fruits, well, they're kind of expensive, and a lot of these things you just can't really easily get at this time of year. So we're going to be really super lazy, and we're just going to use frozen. Now, I think if I was doing this again, I'd probably take advantage of getting the fruits fresh when they're in season and cheap. But we're not in that position, so we're just going to go with it. If I can get in there. So these are the fruits of the forest. Hey, bouncing out. It looks like a mix of strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, Should be kind of fun. These bags are 300 grams each, so we're probably going to be just shy of a kilo, but that works out quite nicely. Fruit's just about covered. Let's do the blueberries. Should have a pair of scissors for this. Yeah, don't use your teeth at home. Any chances I take in damaging my dental work, very expensive dental work, that's my risk. And yeah, use a pair of scissors. Lovely. And that leaves us with the strawberries. I'm a little bit concerned about these because they're a bit bulkier. So at this point, I don't really know if we're going to have enough to cover. We'll find out, huh? I love a voyage of discovery. God, they smell great. Yeah, it's all good. All right, guys, so I'm going to get some lids on these, and we're just going to leave them for a week, and I'll check back with you then, and we'll look at straining these things through, and then sweetening them up and proofing them down after that. All right, cheers, guys. So here we all are, in jars, in labels, all sealed up. I'm going to give these just a swirl around whenever I pass, I guess. And we're going to see how they develop. But I just wanted to have a word about frozen fruit versus fresh. I mean, fresh fruit should be better, right? Should taste better? Sure. But if you're using fresh fruit, then you probably need to do a little bit more than I have with these. Certainly you need to break the fruit down a little bit more. Particularly things like blueberries, which when they're fresh, the skins will really protect what's inside from the alcohol. And so you're going to need to sort of mash them or bash them or do something with them to break them open, and probably cut these fruits down into smaller pieces, especially with big things like the strawberries. You know, if you halve them or quarter them, you'll probably get a better extract. Same goes for these. Crushing them, bashing them, squashing them, mashing them with a vegetable masher, a potato masher or something like that will help you to get the better extract. But these have been frozen, and the thing about frozen fruit is that the freezing process itself just damages the cell membranes and basically makes it much more accessible for the alcohol. So I haven't had to do that, but if you're using fresh fruit, you probably do. Okay guys, so I just wanted you to know that while I've been doing the liqueur making, I've also been running the still. I've got a bunch of beer in here. It's very hot, so I better not burn myself. And yeah, the run's almost complete. We're just going to have about 4 litres of low wines because this started off as beer, old beer again. Lots of old beer around this place, but we're getting through it. And because I'm using my GNS for making liqueurs instead of making gin, I've got to make more GNS. So lots of spirit runs, lots of stripping runs, and then we'll do another big spirit run and get some more GNS for making gin. Or more liqueurs, whatever. We're going to have a go at the orange liqueur now. There's my, just a bit less than a litre of GNS. And this is some oranges from my garden. Some of them are, well, you know, perhaps a little bit less ripe than I would like. But it's very early in the orange season here at the moment. Those oranges that are under cover are fully ripe now, but the ones in the garden and in the fields are just about getting there. However, I'm not going to be going out and buying oranges when I've got them growing at home. So we're going to use these. They're probably going to be fine. And of course, all we're interested in is the zest. So this is my kitchen grater, and I'm going to start just trying to peel off the rind using this like a peeler, just to get the very thinnest peelings off. And what we're looking for is to get that zest without all of the white pith that sits underneath. So let's see if I can get a decent one and just take a little look at it with you. Every time I get a good one, it falls in the jar. All right. So just going to reach in and pick one out. I'm going to bring this in for a close-up. So this is what we're looking at on both sides. I've got the zest, but not the pith. So I found a slightly better way of working by just putting the grater on the top of the jar, because each time I was peeling, I was getting a big spray of beautiful orange oil, and it wasn't going in the jar, it was just going all over my work surfaces. So doing it this way, I'm getting the zest and I'm getting that orange oil that's coming out where it's being peeled. So it's a little bit trickier to work, but I think I'm getting more orange, and more of it is going directly into the jar. So I'm going to keep this up for a bit longer. And for anyone who was wondering what I'm going to be doing with all of these zested oranges, don't worry guys, I've got it covered. I'm going to take them home, and my wife and I are going to have some glasses of orange juice. How nice is that? Freshly squeezed. Brilliant. Okay. So I've got another couple to do, but you don't want to see that. So there we are, the zest of half a dozen oranges. I didn't weigh them, but it's probably around 1 kilo, in some 95% GNS. So we're going to leave this, and we also have, of course, these guys. All these guys looking absolutely fantastic. Now we've just got to be pretty patient with these and wait for them to extract all of that lovely flavor and color. I mean, come on, the color of this one already is just awesome. And yeah, we're going to leave them probably about a week, and then we'll start sweetening them. I have plans to add some honey to some of these liqueurs as a sweetening agent. Some will have simple syrup. Probably the orange liqueur will have the simple syrup. This one I'm going to also add some vanilla extract and possibly some almond extract, and this one I think is going to become blueberry tart. Anyway guys, catch you in a few days when these have had time to absorb and turn into wonderful spirits. See you later. Okay guys, well, these liqueurs have been steeping now for just less than a week. I need to move them on to the next stage now. They've all picked up a lot of very beautiful colour from the spirits, but in truth, it's not a case of fruit and flavour just coming out of the spirits. A lot of the spirits have gone into the fruit, and I want to get that all back out again. And to do that, we're going to use a little schoolboy physics. You remember something called osmosis, where water will pass from a weak solution to a strong solution through a semi-permeable membrane? Well, the semi-permeable membrane's in the fruit. Unfortunately for us, it works just as well for alcohol as it does for water. So this one is a bit differently. It hasn't got whole fruits in it. It's only got the zest of the oranges, and what we're going to do with this is slightly different. So I'm going to put this to one side. It's the strawberry liqueur we're going to start with. And what we're going to do is just simply put them through a funnel with a strainer in it, and we're going to separate the fruit from the liquid. Now I'm going to leave the rest of that fruit in there. All the liquid's pretty much gone. Just let that drain for a second. That's probably good enough. And then we're just going to put the fruit back in the jar with the rest. So now, back to the schoolboy physics. Here we've got some fruit, which has inside of it some high ABV liquor. This is a bag of sugar. Always makes a mess when you open it. So we're going to put, I'm not going to be precious about this, but about half. A bit more. This one has a leak. Got sugar everywhere now. So it should be about half a kilo of sugar, and we're just gonna give that a good old shaking around to get the fruit coated in sugar. And if we leave that for a few days, it should suck all the liquid out of the strawberries and give us back our spirits. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to do the same for these guys now. Just in case anybody's wondering, everything here, including my hands, have been sanitized. Oh, look, blueberry. Oh, God. That is some high proof liquor. Wow. All right guys, so here we are. Strawberries in sugar, strawberry liqueur, blueberries in sugar, blueberry liqueur, fruits of the forest in sugar, fruits of the forest liqueur. Looking good. We'll check this out again in a few days, and what should have happened is these jars should have filled up with liquid. Now I'm going to give them a shake every now and again to get the sugar down off the side, and that'll help with the extract process, but in theory, it shouldn't take long. So that leaves us with the orange liqueur, and all we're going to do with that is filter it, oh, sorry, strain it off of the orange peel. And then when we get that home, all I'm going to do with it is add the syrups to it, and we'll have a finished product. Okay, so I'm going to let that strain, and then I've got a big cleanup job to do. All that sugar and mess. Okay, so when it comes to proofing down these liqueurs and sweetening them up, my plan is to do some of them with a honey and simple syrup mixture, and some with just simple syrup. It's very easy to make these simple syrup and honey mixtures. Quite literally, a litre of water, a kilo of sugar, heat it, stir it until all the sugar dissolves, and then let it cool. That's your simple syrup. I decided to add 10 mils of vanilla extract to mine, so everything I put some of that into is going to have a little bit of vanilla flavour to just lift the fruit a little out of the sweetness. For the honey, again, a litre of water, a kilo of honey, and just stir until, with some heat, and just stir until all of that honey has mixed in with the water, and you haven't got any lumpy bits left or thicker bits. It's all consistent. And again, there you've got some honey syrup to use, but use the honey syrup sparingly. Honey's got a very powerful flavour, and it can overpower other flavours from the fruits. So that's why I'm going for a mix of simple syrup and some of that honey syrup in some of the liqueurs. I don't think it's going to suit the orange liqueur, so that's just going to have the simple syrup. And I think for the blueberry tart liqueur that I was talking about, I'm just going to add a little bit of extra almond essence to give it the sort of the pastry flavour for the tart bit. So that's what I'm going to do with those. Now, a few thoughts on proofing and proofing down liqueurs. If you're making this stuff for home consumption, you don't care, and why should you? You're just making a liqueur the way you like it. You can take a stab at what you think the ABV is going to be and go for it. It doesn't matter. But if you're making something you're planning to sell, like I am, then you've got to pay attention to the ABV, because the taxman demands to know exactly how much alcohol and what the volume is, so that he can charge you the appropriate amount of tax. Yeah, and the buying public sort of have a right to know what it is that they're buying and what the alcohol strength is. So you need to be a little more careful about it. Trouble is, it's harder. So if I'm making any other spirit, if I'm making gin, if I'm making vodka, if I'm making whiskey, if I'm making rum, I can just drop a alcohol hydrometer in there, take a measurement, and I'll know exactly what the ABV of my finished product is. That's great. The trouble is, as soon as you mix sugar into an alcohol and water solution, your hydrometer and your refractometer, they both become useless, because they're calibrated to only have one variable, and that is alcohol, and the rest of the solution is assumed to be water, which isn't the case once you start adding sugar. So you have to do something else, and pretty much anything you do is going to be a little bit imperfect. So the best solution that I have found, and guys, if you know better, hey, I'm all ears. Just leave a comment in the comment section, or send me an email or something, and tell me what you think is a better way to do this. But what I do is this. I know that I started with 1 litre of GNS in each of those liqueurs at 95.5% ABV. That I measured. I also know from using an alcohol water dilution calculator that if I am aiming for an ABV of 35% in my finished product, I need to add 1.8 litres of water to that mixture to achieve about 2.7 litres of product at 35%. So if we assume that, here's where the assumptions come, guys. If we assume that any additional liquid that comes from fruit or that comes from simple syrup is simply water, and we make our volume up with that liquid to 2.72, then in theory we should be pretty close to our target ABV of 35%. Now, I know there's a whole bunch of scientists out there right now rolling their eyes in disbelief at my stupidity, and that's great, but I haven't got the kind of lab equipment that you can use to measure the alcohol volume of a mixture of sugar and ethanol. I don't know a way to do it. So yeah, if you know better, tell me. But in the meantime, that's how I'm going to approach it. It's been a week since we put some sugar in with these fruits to try to extract some more alcohol back out of them. And as you can see, we've got quite a lot of syrup in there now, which again has lots of colour. So what we're going to do now is we're going to strain that liquor off the fruits and into our jar of well, liqueur, I suppose. Now, some people will repeat the sugaring process to get more juice out of the fruits. I'm not going to do that. I've got other plans for these fruits. I'm going to make ice cream with them. Yay! But that's a story for a different day and probably not for video. But what we're going to do is we're just quite simply going to take these fruits and strain them. Oops, I need to put a strainer in there. I'll be back. Let's try again. We're going to take these fruits and we're going to strain them into the liqueur. Just got to keep an eye on the volume to make sure that we don't overflow inside here. It's going really slow. Anyway, I'll come back to you when that's done for all of these. Here we are with our 3 jars of partially sweetened strawberry, blueberry and fruits of the forest liqueur. Fantastic. Each of these jars has been marked with a line at 2.72 litres. So if we make that up with a combination of sugar syrup, honey syrup and water, we should get the desired sweetness and flavour profile that we're looking for in each of these. So let's get into proofing them down. Okay guys, so we're going to start with the strawberry. We've already got in here 500 grams approximately of sugar. And here I've got some simple syrup with vanilla. And in this jar is a honey syrup, which we talked about earlier. So I'm not going to be too worried about accurate volumes at this point. I'm just trying to get rough proportions right. In here there's roughly 2 litres and my mark is here at 2.72 litres. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with two straws worth of liqueur. 1 straw's worth of honey. Oh, if I can get the lid off. 1 straw's worth of simple syrup. Give that a little stir around. And we'll give it a taste. So it's a beautiful pink colour. Smells like strawberries. The taste is divine. Okay, now we're going to try a second tincture, but this time we're going to use strawberry, and pure honey, and see what we get with that. It's also very good, but I think my preference is a 50-50 mixture of the simple syrup and the honey syrup. But it is absolutely to die for. So I'm going to make that one up, and then we're going to go on and do the other two. So I'm going to make up the tincture now for the blueberry tart liqueur. So in order to get that sort of pastry flavor there, we're just going to add some almond essence, almond extract. Now, I got to do this real carefully because you don't need much. And literally what I'm looking for is a drop. Into that, we're going to add two straws even of blueberry, and two straws of simple syrup. The almond's really intense. I think I may have overdone it. Maybe not. Maybe not. That tastes great, just like a blueberry tart. Yay. Okay, so I ended up adding half a teaspoon of almond essence to this, and we're just going to make it up to the 2.72 litre volume by adding some of this, which is the simple syrup. So there it goes. And we find the right lid. We'll stick the lid on and we'll give that a good shake. That's a fabulous colour. And we decided with this one, the strawberry, that we were going to do a 50-50 mixture of honey and simple syrup. So what I'm going to do is, my guess is there's almost a litre there. So we're just going to tip in some of that. And make it up with the honey mixture. Put the lid on, give that a shake. That is looking fabulous. All right, and that leaves us with the fruits of the forest. And the fruits of the forest was also going to be a honey, and simple syrup mix. So what we're going to do, quite simply, because I think I've got the proportions right now for these liqueurs, we're just going to head put in our simple syrup and vanilla. Luckily for me, got a bit more of that. If I could but find it, there it is. And we're gonna make that up to the line with honey. So, there we go. We now have our 3 liqueurs. Oh, where's the other one? There it is. Proof down to about 35% alcohol by volume, and sweetened with a mixture of sugar, honey, water to achieve a perfect balance, I hope. We'll check that out when we do the tasting. I got one more thing to show you guys before we get into the tasting though. And that's this. So the orange I already proofed down, and what we have in here is about 3 litres of orange liqueur, proofed down with simple syrup at about 40% alcohol by volume. This one I did slightly differently, but basically the process was the same. Make a tincture, add the syrup, and away we go. So back in a second with the tastings. All right, guys. So before we get into the tasting, just want to say I've really enjoyed making these liqueurs, and thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the content, give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. I know a lot of YouTubers say that. The reason that it helps the channel is that the more likes a video has, the more YouTube shows it to other people with a similar interest. So the likes really do help, guys. If you want to see more of my content, please subscribe and ring the bell. Make a comment down below. Tell me if you've made anything like this. Tell me what your experiences were. Tell me if you make other liqueurs. I'd love to find out about that stuff. And if you've got any ideas for me, maybe I'll have a go at making something that you suggest. All right, so into the tasting. Where to start? Let's start with strawberry. So it's got a beautiful pale pink color to it. It's not completely clear. I can still see some little bits of strawberry floating around in there. I'm probably going to filter this through muslin and possibly through a coffee filter to clarify it. But that takes so long, it's so boring, and you guys really don't want to watch me do that. So let's get into the taste. So on the nose, the strawberries are really powerful. The kind of strawberries I used were mountain strawberries, Marengo. These are very, very nice, distinct flavour that they have. And on the nose, that comes through really quite strong. So, the flavour's great. The strawberry is exactly as it presented on the nose. The alcohol is about right. There is enough sweetness in there to give it that lovely liqueur appeal. It's not just a straight up spirit, but it is pretty strong. It's 35% alcohol by volume. I'm really loving that. Okay. Let's try the blueberries. So this was our blueberry tart liqueur, and to get the tart flavor we used almond essence. So let's see what we can smell. Well, straight up, it smells like a blueberry tart. So the first thing you notice as it enters the mouth is it's thicker. It's certainly thicker than the strawberry liqueur. It's got a slightly more oily quality to it, but it's still a strong spirit. You can taste that. Blueberries have quite a subtle flavour, but you can definitely taste the blueberryness that's in this, and the addition of the almond has created that, well, it's like a pudding. It's very, very nice. It does taste a lot sweeter. You can definitely taste the sugar more strongly than you could in the strawberry liqueur. But it is very, very nice, and the colour's absolutely amazing. Onto the fruits of the forest. Now, our fruits of the forest liqueur is quite a mixture of fruits. I'll put my teeth back in. Quite a mixture. Quite a mixture of fruits. So there's strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, red currants, black currants, all in this. And when you smell it, it's got absolutely the smell of that stuff that they sometimes put on ice cream for you that is like a fruits of the forest compote-y thing. It smells very much like that. It smells a lot tarter than the other ones, I guess on account of the currants. The red currants and the black currants have a much more acidic quality to them. But I like it. And the colour's amazing again. Each of these has a distinctly different shade of red, which is just great. Wow. Now again, like the strawberry liqueur, this one is thinner in your mouth. It's less cloying in terms of the viscosity of the liquid. It's more of a spirit. It is the same alcoholic strength as the others, and you can taste that. But the mixture of the forest fruits really is fantastic, and the tartness of those currants gives it something that these two just don't have, which is that little bit of acidity, that little bit of extra bite. But the flavor's amazing. I really like that. In fact, I really like all of them. Which brings us to this puppy, the orange liqueur. Now, we made this with a slightly different technique. As you'll recall, we just used the zest of the oranges and we sweetened it up. Now, I did that off camera. You'll see that if you look at this, it looks like orange juice. Just looks like a 4-litre jar of orange juice. I think what happened is when I put the spirits in with the water and the sugar syrup, it looshed because there was a lot of orange oil extracted from those orange skins, a lot of orange oil. You could, in fact, before I did it, you could see a 1/4-inch layer of orange oil floating on the surface. So when I shook that up and added in all of the syrup, it basically looshed, which makes it look like an orange juice because it's not clear at all. Oh, on the nose, it is amazingly orangey. Really is, just like taking a fresh orange and breaking it open. You get that the sharpness of the zest, but also the sweetness of the flesh. And it's very nice. Again, this comes across as a thicker spirit, much as the blueberry liqueur did. It's more viscous in your mouth, a little more oily, but not in a bad way. The orange flavour is very, very good, very powerful. You can taste that orange zest sort of coats your tongue and the roof of your mouth after you've swallowed it, and a long time after you've swallowed it, you can feel that zinginess going on inside your mouth. Pardon me. But the smell is amazing. And the flavor is too. So, am I happy with these? You bet I am. Is this a product I think I can sell? You're damn straight. So, I've been making up some labels, and the next stage is going to be bottling and possibly filtering. Like I said, I'm not going to put you guys through that. This has been, for me, fantastic. Really enjoyed it. I hope you have too. Yeah, what should we do next? What shall we do next? I'm coming up soon for another check-in on my whiskies, see how they're getting along. I noticed that one of my little barrels seems to have developed a little crack. So that's a bit of an issue. I think I'm losing a little bit of spirit through that crack. Not a lot, I hope. But yeah, that'll be an update. It'll be a short, just like the last one was, a very, very quick couple of minutes just on how it's going. But yeah, I've got some more liqueurs to drink. So, see you guys on the next one. That's it from Planet Moonshine for this. Bye for now.